Virgos, what's going on, y'all? I cuss, but I don't curse. You heard me? So now that that's situated, I want y'all to be advised that you can contact me for custom readings. I have an appointment center set up on the channel page. I have a link tree, and I also have an additional link to the website where I pretty much provide readings at. They're not fully fleshed out though, so it's not like there's tarot readings with prices and stuff like that. But there is an appointment center to where you can contact me and we can discuss that type of thing if that's what you're looking for. Astrology readings as well, of course. But you can check back and forth. I'll be updating it to make it more organized and more efficient. All right. But we're going to be doing an advice reading for y'all. And 4-card draw. We're going to be looking into, a particular concern that you have at the moment. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. I've also stumbled upon, some considerations that have been made by viewers, and I'm taking a look into that. In my defense, I want to say, I just channel and I read what I read, and I do understand where people are coming from when they say, sometimes we don't have the necessary faculties to even begin. And that I understand that, and it's like in certain readings, and it seems to come up in Scorpio readings more than others. Like I do channel and talk about, I don't want to say overthrowing, but like discussing things where there are many dichotomies in the land. If you haven't seen my UBI, Universal Basic Income video, it's like a documentary / film that I did. It's on my channel page as well. I would say take a look at that. It's real future oriented, forward thinking, and it really discusses the depths of money, and why conditions are the way that they are in regards to the dichotomy and it's not fair the way things are distributed. So it is a thing. I do understand that. I commend you for pointing that towards me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ignorant to the fact that I can even open up some of my readings dealing with money and address that. So I will make myself more aware when it comes to money issues. But I'm gonna slice and dice this deck, and we're gonna get into it. And I think for matters that are assigned to our signs, my Virgo readings do be coming out talking about money a lot. Here's the situation at hand, Virgos. We have the Tower. This does not mean automatically that you are facing a tower. It could be though. But this is the aura of the concern at hand. Like, let's say if a tower does occur, it will affect perhaps all of us, right? With Mars being at the Tower card as well, we could kind of predict that is going to affect the individual in some type of way, whether they're caught up in the tower or not. We can at least expect that. I'm feeling that the tower could be relative to the workplace. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't. It's a Virgo reading. We already talking about the workplace, but I'm serious. Reason being because Mars is in Capricorn right now, so we're talking about the operations of business. See, so I'm trying to search out every faculty that I have at my disposal, astrology included, numerology included, the workplace, because I'm looking at the 6, right? 16 for the Tower card. So the individual in the workplace is under some type of reconstructing, because the old is breaking away to make way for the new. And when this process is facilitated, which I feel that it's already in motion, the individual is going to have to adapt to whatever situation is put forth to them. And it's going to be a journey that the self must take. It's like a breakaway from the workplace, your co-workers and the buddies that you hang out with after work and stuff like that. This is going to be the conversation that takes place not only at the water cooler, but also at the bars, or, you know, at the restaurants where you choose to hang out, the telephones where you choose to discuss your days and stuff like that. This is the topic at hand. But again, we could get more clarity building on an obstacle card to see how much this pertains to you, Virgo. This is the obstacle card, which is your card, Queen of Pentacles. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's Virgo related, you know? But again, let me get to the reading. So the obstacle is this. You know, it's leading right into what I was saying about my UBI documentary. Like, there's a common sense that's supposed to be associated with wealth and wealth building. Yet there are so many corners that need to be turned, so many T's to cross, so many I's to dot. A lot of nepotism. All right, so here we go. You know what I mean? Here we go. All right, see, I learned too. A lot of nepotism is in the world of finance, to where this person could get the loan, that person can't get the loan. This person gets the inheritance in the family, that person doesn't get the inheritance in the family. Some people don't have the education to know where to obtain finances from, apart from actually laboring for them. And that's the obstacle at hand right now. So I find it very interesting that my quote was pulled about the way I delivered the particular Virgo message relative to money. And here we go, unearthing it right now. So I appreciate who that was. I don't have your name right now, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching this again, you know exactly who you are. The obstacle is where we live at. We're in the States. I'm in the States, right? So it's like that whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps slogan is heavily emphasized in the United States of America. And it's like this expectancy of the individual to go out and get it by any means. They don't say that in detail, but it's like, if you don't have anything, a leg to stand on at all, what alternative do you leave someone who has to survive, right? So common sense says that there's something ill about that. There's something that's not natural. There's no way that the God particle will allow us to be here in this physical plane without having enough to sustain us. Scarcity is an invention. There should be common sense when it comes to wealth and wealth building, and there just isn't any. There isn't enough. And we as humans, we gotta like search high and wide to find these things out and learn as we go. And it's like, well, what happened to school, motherfuckers? Like, what happened to teaching us that in kindergarten? Like, I remember being in school, right, at a younger age, and I would be so bored in class because my work would be done like this. Like, I loved learning. But where was the money advice? Like, I was in elementary. I feel that this story is important. I was in elementary school running poker games and playing memory, because I don't think I knew how to play poker yet. But I was playing memory with the kids in the classroom, and I was like taking dimes from them and nickels and quarters and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's probably fucked up. Like, it's probably not the best thing, but I look at it like it was a must have. Like, that's who I was at that age. Like, I wanted to get to the money then. In first grade, I was doing that shit. So where was the classes when we're most receptive to learning? Where were the classes about money? You've heard this conversation before, but now it's brought to the forefront again, and it's serious. That is the obstacle here that we're dealing with, Virgo. The Tower, whether this is relative, I think this is, the obstacle is pertaining to you more than anything, because although the Queen of Pentacles is known as someone who already has the stature of financial well-being, you might be in a place where that's not the case, but that doesn't mean that you're not the Queen of Pentacles, or could be the Queen of Pentacles, or destined to be the Queen of Pentacles. And I think when you're born royal, right? When you're born as a royal, you're supposed to have that without having to like do something criminal or atrocious in order to obtain the wealth. You shouldn't have to be a warmonger to obtain the wealth. You understand what I'm saying? But let's look at the action recommended for you, Virgos. The moon in reverse. You got to release your fear that's relative to that. So let's put this in a scenario where you may not have a leg to stand on, or you may not have enough. You've got to release the fear that comes attached with that, and by way of doing research. Because as much as I want to say that there's I did say it, I said what I said, there's common sense that should be equated with people being here and at least having enough to sustain themselves, a leg to stand on. The moon still exists in our universe. The moon still exists in our astrology, and the moon will not reveal all at one time. The moon actually encourages one to discover. There's always going to be a piece missing from the picture, from the puzzle. That's what keeps the 12th house the 12th house. That's what keeps the subconscious mind the subconscious mind. And that's what keeps the mystery involved. And despite us being in the Aquarius age of knowledge and truth, it's not like we can just X out the moon in the 12th house. And this card is being drawn to show you, Virgo, or to tell you, Virgo, that you should be encouraged to go on the mystery hunt, to look for the Easter eggs, to look for what it is that you are deserving of. The moon is also associated with survival, right? So it's like your survival depends on it, and it gives you more of a storyline, despite how sick or sadistic that storyline can turn out to be. You know, when you hear of stories of people who were homeless and then they became this, or they were abused as a child and then they became this great thing, this great person, and they turned things around. It came from discovering not only themselves, but things about the world that was not told to them. You know, some of these things are not in any of the educational books, especially when dealing with matters of the spirit. All right. When you realize this and embrace it fully, it'll bring an end to your fears and anxiety attached to money, Virgo, and perhaps give you some ease when it comes to the workplace, even though you're the type that works hard, and that part about you may not change. But this is the action that's recommended, to search for that, so you can search for the mysteries, get into mystery schools, get into the learning the things that are occult, so that it can provide you into stronger intuition when it comes to matters relative to money, because this is a Pisces card. It's opposite of your sign, Virgo. So it's not your comfort zone. You have to actually get comfortable being uncomfortable to unlock these secrets. This is the outcome of doing so. It's the Eight of Wands in reverse. This took a deep turn, I would say. And I say that because this is expansive. This is the feeling of knowing you can do it, especially with the advice that was just recommended, the action to take. And it's like, it's going to cause you to reflect on the holidays that just passed. I don't know how your holidays turned out, whether gift giving was a challenging thing to do, if you could have done it at all. But it has you questioning your expenditures. The outcome is going to have you questioning everything you buy, every single thing, which can really be of service to you and simple because you're attentive, you pay attention to detail. The key here, though, is to not lose the momentum garnered from receiving compensation for your work, but to come up with new effective ways of managing things, not just wealth related, but creation related as well. Because Virgo energy, and this is not to be judgmental, I'm just keeping it a beam with what the card and the sign often tells me when doing readings, is that Virgo energy can be comfortable working for someone when the boss has it all situated and mapped out so that the security comes in knowing that there's a foundation. There's always going to be a check at the end of the week as long as you work. And sound business practices, that's a real good thing for sound business practices, to have that type of security. But again, what happens if you don't work, right? Or what happens when anything out of the norm occurs? Will that security still be there? And that's why we are told about things for like saving for a rainy day. And, you could possibly listen to other gurus or people that have all of these alleged great wealth ideas, and it just doesn't apply to the common man, to the common woman. So this card, this outcome is telling you to reflect on times where you had the ability to spend, and whether you did or you didn't. How does that make you feel? Does that make you lose momentum because you feel you didn't have enough? Or are you more encouraged because you did have enough to buy everybody gifts and stuff like that? And if you did have enough, how did it make you feel afterwards? Did your expenditure make you lose momentum? Because money is energy. So whenever it goes out, it's going to drain you of energy. So that will drain you of momentum. So these are just things that you'll have to reflect on, is the outcome, Virgos. I hope that was clear.